Hi, this is Ron Pinkerton, the Thunderbird Tech Coach. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to record your meetings for your classes while still maintaining student privacy in those recordings. It's a really good component of universal design for learning to have these recorded lessons for your students. Is for those students who miss class, but also for those students who are needing a little more time to process the information that you're given. It gives them a chance to go back and review lessons and instruction. But we do want to maintain that privacy for the students so that they're not bothered by the fact that their video a video of them is being shared online. So we can do that with Webex, but we do have to set up some preferences. Now, be aware first off that these preferences we're setting up are specifically for the recordings, not for the lessons. What you see in the lesson and the settings that you have and the students' views that they have are not going to be impacted in the live lessons by our settings in the recordings. And that might make a little more sense in just a moment. Right now, you're going to start by going to guhsd.webex.com, and that's going to bring you to a view like this. Now, you may also see a view like this. This is the classic view. We're going to be working in the modern view just because the settings are a little easier to manage there. So we're going to go to recordings. And we're going to go to preferences. We'll go to recordings in a moment. We're going to go to preferences, and we are going to click on recording. Now, we have three options here for how we record those videos in Webex. Again, this is just the videos. This is not what the students see during the live meeting. It's just for what they would see in the recorded video. So the first option we have is the video thumbnails view. Now, if I was to record a lesson like this or a meeting like this, the person speaking, whether that's the teacher or the student, whoever is speaking is going to be on the main screen when there's not any shared content. And then up above, they're going to see the thumbnails in that recording of the other students. And then if content shared, we're going to see those thumbnails there. So that doesn't maintain the privacy for the student. Their video is going to be showing. Okay. We also have the active speaker view. Now, primarily that's going to be the teacher when there's not any shared content, and there's going to be the student, then there's going to be the shared content here with the teacher there. But if a student speaks in class, if they turn on their microphone to ask a question or to answer a question or participate in a discussion, when they are actively speaking, that video of them is going to show up. Again, we're not really interested in sharing that video in a recording. Okay. And then finally, we have the content only view. Now, that's going to leave the screen blank when the teacher or student is speaking in that recording. And it's not going to show a thumbnail when content is shared. But all audio is going to be recorded. And then any shared content will be recorded as well. That's the one that we're going to want to go with for these recorded lessons. So we're going to go back to our WebEx screen, and we're going to click on Content Only View. And that's going to mean any recording that we do from here on out until we change this setting is going to just be that content. And then we're going to scroll down to the bottom, and we're going to click Save. Okay, and we'll get that notification that we have saved that content. All right. Now, once I have recorded the lesson, so I'm in my lesson and I'm getting ready to cover something that I want to be able to share later with the students, I'm going to hit that record button in the bottom center of my screen. Now that will bring up a little box so that I can start the recording. I'll hit the start button and I can close out that box. I'll know my video is recording because I'm going to see in my meeting window, I'm going to see a little red button that says, or red flashing light that says this video is being recorded if I hover over it. Now, if I stop that recording, I can stop that recording by clicking the red record button at any time and start it back up at any time. Each time I stop and start, that's going to make a new recording. Okay, and so those recordings are going to show up in the recordings tab. And so these get housed by WebEx, so they're stored on WebEx's server. And my recommendation is not to download those. but actually to share them. Okay, so I'm going to show you first what that looks like in a recording. So I'm going to pull up this recording, and that's going to bring up this. Now it takes a moment to load, but then once I have the play button, I'm ready to go. I'm going to move myself over here so you guys can see everything that I will see. Now, as soon as I start playing that, I'm going to pause it because there's no reason for you to hear the lesson. I'm going to pause that right there. And then once I have that paused, I can also see these two icons that show up. Now, if I download the video, all I get is this box. I don't get these two icons. Now, the first one, your students might not really be too concerned about, but it could be something that you could go back and say, when you say, hey, I covered this in class, and the kid says, oh, I don't think you covered it, you can say, well, that's funny because you were there. Not that we need to have those gotchas for them, but it does tell us who was in the meeting and who wasn't a little farther down the line. But there's also the chat that's saved as well. Okay, so that's going to be important for these kids. Oh, sorry. That's going to be important for the kids to be able to access that chat. So I'm going to close that out and show you how we can share that. So like I said, sharing is going to share that chat feature, and there may be some valuable questions and conversation that happened in that chat. So I have the option next to my meeting to share it. Now, I can do some really cool things with this. I can share directly, email this to someone, and then they're going to have all the information that they need, or I can copy it and I can copy the password, and then I can paste this into Google Classroom or Canvas or something so the students can go back and view that with that password protected view. So then they will see the same window that we saw with the video, and they'll see the chat, and they'll see the participants view. But we're still maintaining that privacy where we're not sharing those videos of the students. Again, want to remind you that this is just the settings for the recordings. Your video presentations in class, your live presentations, they're going to see your face. They're going to see each other for those. But these saved videos aren't going to have that information shared. So there you go. That is recording your meetings in Webex and then sharing those meetings with your students.